Hi, I'm Jordan from the Blood Brothers, and you're watching lxjovem. Thank you.
What's it like being in Portugal and Lisbon?
We've just been around here. A couple of the guys went into the city today, took the metro there and hung out. They said it was beautiful, but I could probably tell you the next time we come through, because I'll actually have some time to, check it out and stuff. This is our first time, playing here. We're happy to be here. There's not many places that we haven't played yet, so, and this is one of them. And so, everyone here seems really nice and excited about the show, so I think it'll be fun.
You guys come from Seattle, and there's a lot of talented bands come from Seattle, not just the tradition of grunge bands in the 90s, but new bands from the state of Washington, like you guys, and new bands between commas, but you guys and Idiot Pilot and new bands like that. What do you think fuels these new bands?
From our standpoint, one of the things that we were lucky to have was all ages venues. There's quite a few in Seattle, then also like in the surrounding suburbs. So like the first show that I went to, I was like 12, and so kids get a chance to experience music at a very young age. So I think that it sparks an interest, and not everyone that's in junior high or high school is interested in more traditional activities like sports or whatnot. And so if you have like a teen center or something that has shows, like that's what we had, so that's what got us into music.
You're my age, and you guys have been around for a while now.
Yeah. I was lucky because I got to go to really small shows really early. We'd have like lots of good hardcore shows coming through Seattle. That was when I was like 15 or so. And everything was just very supportive. And when we started our band, it wasn't too difficult for us to get shows. There was quite a strong network of other bands and people that we could play with, and places that we could play, so we were fortunate in that respect.
You and Johnny sing simultaneously, actually very often. How do you guys came up with that? There's like two shouting singers, two screaming singers.
Like there was a band like probably in like 1994, 95 called Area 51. It was like a punk grind hardcore band kind of. They had two singers, one female, one male, and they sang simultaneously. So that was one of our favorite bands, and so we just we wanted to do the same thing basically. It just kind of developed from there. Like in the beginning we would just kind of not really pay much attention to each other. We would just both think of a part and do it, and lots of times they wouldn't really match up or anything like that, but as time went on, we just kind of put a little bit more thought into it than that.
Harmony, So.
Yeah, stuff like that, and just kind of thinking about what parts are most appropriate for each of our voices. It's like there's a lot of stuff that Johnny does with his voice that clearly I can't do, and there's like stuff that I can do with mine that that he can't do. So it's like we just kind of see what works best for the part, and it, like naturally, like if it's a really chaotic or really hard part, like, both of us will do it together, or, do some kind of trade-off.
And how do you guys shout so much, for such a long time?
The Blood Brothers was the first band that I sang in, and it was just screaming. So it comes more naturally to me than singing in like a way that most people would.
Doesn't that like wear you out or something?
Sometimes, like usually Most often, like at the beginning of a tour, like if we've been on break for a while, you know, if we've had like a couple weeks off without playing a show, you know, it'll take like a little bit to get like kind of breath control back and just sort of like not wear ourselves out. But once it's like a couple weeks into a tour or even just, you know, a few shows, like it just kind of comes back.
Did you guys miss the, you know, the more frantic, hectic work after, you know, recording Crimes?
It's really hard to say because I don't think that it's particularly harder. There are songs on the new record that are a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more intense than a lot of the stuff on Crimes, but there's also stuff on this record that's a lot softer than anything that we've done, you know, where there's like parts that are like instrumental for a long time, or there's like stuff where it's like me and Johnny don't scream at all, you know, for like an entire song or almost. But
and then there's a streak of guitars in the middle, and then I think it's one.
Yeah, there's that one, and then there's like Street Wars, Exotic Foxholes, and then like the whole like first chunk of like Giant Swan, or like there's the part like in Camouflage where it's just Johnny and keyboards. So it's just I think that it's just broader, you know. I think that like for every part that might be hard, there's a part that's probably, you know, counterbalances it.
What's so awesome about Fire? Not that I don't like it particularly, but you know.
It was just like lots of times, like when they're writing songs, Johnny will sing just sort of the first thing that comes to his head, and just like as a way to just kind of like, you know, start thinking about ideas or whatnot. And that was, I think, the first thing that sort of popped into his head at the time. And the song itself is just kind of an amusing look at like how disappointed we are with current music. So it was just, you know, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, and it's not too serious, and it's just, you know, like there's lines in that song that kind of make me laugh, and the stuff that I contributed to it made me laugh. So it was, you know, it was just kind of a fun thing to do.
What about the Dream Unicorn? Is it a person?
No, it's just kind of like metaphorical, you know. It was just like we wrote that song about Las Vegas. If you ever go to Las Vegas, like the thing that you'll kind of realize about it, or it's just kind of ridiculous. It's a very ridiculous city. Everything's very, you know, neon. Everything's very over the top. And it just seemed like a kind of an amusing thing to write about, you know. It was like we go there a lot because you know, we tour, you know, we tour a lot in the States, but it's not a place that I think that I would go if I wasn't playing music. You'd have to go there, I guess, to kind of understand. It's just kind of funny, you know. Imagine like a city that's just like a theme park / city, you know, like at the same time. It's out in the middle of the desert, so until you reach, you know, Vegas, there's nothing around, and then you just see like, you know, neon explosion, and you know, it's just kind of a weird, funny place to be, you know.